What's going on, people? Dave the Ring. Welcome to No Frontier. Now, it's been 2 weeks since I've moved back to New York City. Something I really didn't want to do, but it will definitely help out the family situation. Now, I should tell you, about 20 years ago, I originally left New York City for Albany. I was 20 years old, 40 now. And within the 20-year span, about 13 or 14 of those were spent in the Albany area. And the rest were like back in New York for about 2.5 years. It was Jersey for a year, and it was the South for like 2.5 years. So, like I said, I've been up in Albany for quite some time. And what I wanted to do was I wanted to reclaim my title as the most experienced person in New York City. Now, before I left, so when I was 20 years old, I really felt that I truly got to experience more than most New Yorkers at that time. I really thought that. Why? Because, it might sound stupid, but generally people, like, let's say we're in Harlem. I'm on 121st. I'm going to talk to you about the school really quick. I'm on 121st between 7th and St. Nicholas Avenue. And generally people, let's say if they live in Harlem and let's say they work in downtown Manhattan, those are the two A and B boundaries that is set for them. Like, that's where people mostly spend their time. And then obviously people will go shopping once in a while, eat once in a while. That depends. Now, me, I had a car at a very young age, and I have friends that lived everywhere. So we would be deep in the Bronx, deep in Queens, like pretty much everywhere. Brooklyn, of course. And Staten Island, even after the fact, I was going to Staten Island. So I would go different places, and even different places in Manhattan, because some people in Harlem, they don't go to Dyckman, on and on and on the other way around. So, or all the way down, by Battery Park, close to where I went to high school, Chinatown. So you get my drift. People, they really stay not too far from where they live. Me, I was everywhere. But I'm here to reclaim my title because in the past 20 years, with the advent of like social media and things like that, a lot of expats have moved to New York City, created great content, whether it's food related, travel related, culture related, and they've gained a lot of traction. So I know, I'm here to reclaim that title. But let me talk about this school really quick. Now, this school, it has a lot at the end. Now, what I should say is this. I never taken a family trip ever growing up. Not one trip. The most we did was go to Rye Playland, which I took my family there a few days ago. Or we would go to Coley Island like 4th of July. That was the extent. I can't even remember us going to Six Flags, Stony Park, anything like that. That was the extent. But with this place, I went to summer camp here for 2 years. So my first summer camp was St. Thomas. It was on 118th Street, St. Nicholas Avenue. I went at 9 and 10 years old, and I came here at 11 and 12. I think my sister, she was one of like the camp counselors. She was one of the camp counselors here getting paid. So I think that's how I stumbled upon this place. So like pretty much it was people like a few years older than us that were like I said, camp counselors. And on Fridays we would go away. So it's because of this place that I first went to Washington, D.C., Lancaster, PA, Amish country, and on and on and on. We went to trips. So in the morning on Fridays, from what I remember, the bus used to pull up right here in the front of the school. The front is right here. The bus used to pull up, and we would get loaded on the bus. So we would leave very early so that we have the whole day to enjoy, and then the bus would come back. It was never an overnight thing, but we would come back very late. And what that did was planted a seed, because that was the first time of leaving outside of New York City / New York State. And then also too, at the same time, I was going to church in the Bronx. And, we went as a family. And that church, we had a network of churches under us. And I remember going to some of the churches that were under us. And one of them was a church in Richmond, Virginia. So that was my first time ever going to the South. I remember that trip like it was yesterday. And that one, we actually stayed in a hotel, visited the church, etc. And so that was fun. It was fun for me to get to see those things. Because in the summer, some people get to go away to families' homes in other states and other countries. I was never that fortunate. So it's places like this and the church that initially opened my mind. Not open my mind. I was already open-minded, rather, since elementary school. Very open-minded, very well read, up on geography and everything like that. So not open my mind, but it allowed my eyes to see new things. That's what happened. So till today, you know, the things I've seen, the places I've gone, man, I'm so blessed. So it's because a school like this that really actually made it happen for me. All right. So welcome to the channel. I hope you stay and come along with the journey of reclaiming my title as the most experienced, the most traveled person in New York City. So on social, I'm David the Travel Guy, GUI, and watch the travel guy do his work around this city. Catch you on the next one. Peace.